you looking to become a Tier 1 operator in the gaming world? Elevate your games with Black Site Studio Terrain.
Hello, how's it going, guys? So you're on SitRep Podcast. Gaz here, doing a view and a brew. It's actually only 6 o'clock here in the UK, but I wish I'd have pushed this to 6:30. It's been a mad dash through traffic tonight to get back in time. I've just scarped down my food like any good soldier does. Didn't bother chewing, and I'm still sort of setting up, as you can see. But yeah. Happy to be here. Looking forward to getting another one of the African Militia done. Should be interesting. So yeah, tonight I'm going to crack on with this guy. So I put up a bit of a question on the Facebook page. Obviously we've had some fun with stuff like the flip-flops on some of the other guys. And we put out the question of what should we do with the boots. So over here I would call these wellies, as in Wellington boots. I suppose they're rubber boots, depending where you come from. But we had a couple of guys kindly put in some comments. We've had lime green and red, and having looked at it just before I started the podcast, the red had 2 more thumbs up and sort of a smiley face extra. So we're going to go with some bright red ones today. So that should be interesting. So I'm thinking about how to break this up based on the fact that these are going to be red. So we've got what looks like a form of shamaga, just a face covering, some cut-off shorts, the old Mark 1 hoodie. I would say it looks like I would call it an SLR from sort of the British sort of stuff, but it might not be. That's one for all our gun-toting, well, my American friends, basically. Hey, Ralph, how's it going? Cheers for coming on. We're just trying to work out what the gun is. I think it's an SLR. It looks like some sort of variant of it, I would say, but not 100%. Just make sure the zoom's okay where it is, which it is. So yeah, red wellies it's going to be today. Interesting times. So how to break up the rest of the model, really? Because, so if these are red, I don't want to go black because we've done a couple of red and black. It goes well, but we've done a couple of them. Looking for a bit of a different look. So I've got my heads. My sea of heads, and I'm trying to decide what colour to go with the shorts, the hoodie and the shamag. So we've got quite a selection, and these are the contrast paint colours. So I'm going to use this red, which is a punchier red for the wellies. What are we thinking, guys? What do you reckon, Ralph? What colour for the shorts? FAL? FAI? FAL. Oh, that's the weapon. I think. Do I go for... see, this orange I would have had, but it's a bit watery. For the hoodie, red wellies. Red wellies. If I can decide what the hoodie is, I can do the other two the same colour and have sort of 2 colours in 2 stages. Red wellies. There's a couple of sort of strong, almost deserty colours when it comes to maybe for the shorts. In fact, I'm thinking this one because it's a bit more dull. So we'll go with that one for the shorts. Let's have a look what that is. That is Agorist Dunes. I think we might have used that recently. I'm not sure. So that's in the pot. So we're going for that for the shorts. We'll go for that for the shamar. So just the hoodie essentially is next. What to do for the hoodie? Red wellies. Going for a creamy coloured. So should we just have the red wellies as the highlight? I think that'd be quite cool. Ralph's on the bus. He's kindly just tuned in. Must be using the free Wi-Fi on it to just give us a bit of support, which is really cool. Red wellies. Oh, I'm tempted to go with that. You know what? I might go a bit crazy with the hoodie. because I've not done anything for my good friend Marty from the team recently. It's been a bit out there, so I think we're going to go and see what this purple hoodie looks like. What I go with? Yep, that'll clash awesomely, which I know is right up his street. So that one is 3 from the end, which is not that one. Volupus Pink. Well, definitely not used this one before. Well, I say that. I painted the head, obviously. Jim! It must be lunch there. I love how Jim's on, like, every lunchtime when we're on. So, this is the joy of having a great team. The guys are just chucking in and supporting, even when they're on bus on the way home from work, still at work. You know, we're just mucking together. 4G for the win. So actually, no, Ralph's not using the free Wi-Fi on the bus after all. Cool. So, I'm just going to grab my brushes up. I've got water. Everything's in place. I've actually got a drink this time, which is unusual. Normally I muck that bit up. We're going to jump straight into the Wellington boots, as I would call them, or the rubber ones. Tuna wrap. Jim, I just scarped down a Burger King, literally as I was setting up at the same time. So I'm sat here doing, or trying to put together. There was roadworks on my way home, which made for a dash drive at the end. Trying to get through the traffic in time to not start late. Lesson to self, 6:30 next time, GMT. So I'm just going to grab a bit, chuck it on the pallet out of the way, and let's crack on. Oh, that's a bit thin. There we go. So yeah, we've got some real shiny red wellies going on today. So this is from the decision made by the guys who commented. We had 2 commenters and we had some extra likes and that such on the comments. So Facebook today has driven our Wellington boot colour scheme. Make sure we're in a better shot. Let's just test and adjust that. Yeah, we're good. But got some guys visiting the flat tomorrow, so actually I don't have to go to work, which is really cool. It was cool in one way. The bad thing is there's a water leak in my roof, so not so good in that way. But they're hopefully going to come tomorrow, make an assessment, and either fix it there and then, or go grab some bits to fix it. I'm hoping, because obviously in the UK we have lovely sunny weather, just like Jim has. In the place where sunshine was born, I think. Or B, we've had quite a bit of wind and quite a bit of rain, which yeah, has meant for some interesting mornings coming down to find that your kettle's wet on the outside. I was like, this is weird. And why is it? Why? How's it managed to get to the lid? I started looking for batteries not included, so I did a quick search of the house for small robots first. Unfortunately, didn't find any because that would have been awesome. That's for those of a certain age group. Jim might have been a fan of the show, not sure. Being the historical man he is, he probably has no idea what Battery Not Included is as a movie. I'd like to think he does, because it's just one of them everybody should have watched it. I don't think he'd get it nowadays, as in people would get it nowadays, should I say. Ralph definitely, from sort of, I reckon, has seen it. So he used to always be on in Christmas in the UK, which is why I think he might have. It was one of those shows. Oh, we did the rounds at Christmas and holidays, because it's not actually a Christmas film. Oh, I'm really digging into the legs, but that doesn't matter, as we know. The base colour for the skin will mean that'll get hidden. Cool, so we have some shine and some excess, so I'm just going to take the excess off my brush and quickly grab the smaller brush and take some of that away, I think. He's heard of it. See? Jim is a man of many talents. I thought he would only watch historical films, or loosely based on. Right, so I'm just going to use the side of the brush just to take some of the excess off. That's cool. Yeah, that's fine. Big pooling there at the top. Cool. So we've got the red wellies. That's a good start point. I'm going to jump up to sorts and see how this, what was it called again? Agarus Dunes. Interesting. I hope. We shall see. I'm going to switch brushes back. Make sure it's clean. Yep, that's clean. I've got hiccups, that's not good, is it? I'm trying to swallow them. I don't know how you swallow a hiccup. I don't think it's even humanly possible, but I'll try. Oh, deep breaths. That doesn't work, but you know. That's what I've got. So let's see how this stuff sits. So we're looking for like a pale, sandy sort of colour, which actually it's, yeah, it seems to be. It's got more brown in it than I expected. Might be able to move it around to thin that back a bit. In fact, I might have used this, thinking about it, on one of the guy's trousers. This does look very familiar. Very familiar. I think this would be quite a good base for doing desert camo on infantry. Or even armour. Well, not armour. We don't use... Contrast paints does not sit well on large, flat surfaces. It needs texture to work with. It generally streaks and shows the brush marks. So much so that it kind of spoils it. Oh, he's got like a little, you know, like the old one white tag hanging out. I like to give that paint in a different colour, just to make it be a bit of detail. Let's get in and around. So now I'm just going to try and push and pull a little bit here and there. So where I just realised to look up at the cam, which is probably the first time in a few minutes that I have. I'd have been very disappointed to have found myself looking at an empty screen. But we shall endeavour to carry on. So I finally picked up a 3D printer. Looking forward to giving it a go. I've been searching through a few companies for what STO files are available for historical. And found a German company that does some really nice stuff that's everything from sort of World War II to Middle East modern, and you know, there's quite a few odds and sods. Some of them are really, they've been going a while, so some are really, really high quality, which is their newer stuff. And then some of the other stuff that's a bit further back are just good. I wouldn't say any of it's bad. So that's going to be something I'll be able to talk about more as I get into it and see how stuff turns out. But looking forward to travelling into a world of make-believe at home. Don't get me wrong, it's not just I've got it for all sorts of game systems. I'm following a particular patron at the minute that's ridiculously good value for sort of fantasy stuff as well. Because I like to diversify, shall we say. I've been chatting with my mates Dawn and Gianna, obviously you know from the show. Looking to visit early next year. So locking down some dates soon, I hope, while the prices are... So if you book early to go from the UK to America, I found it actually to be very, very reasonable. A return flight, direct, from London to sort of... I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say where they're from. Chicago. In fact, G's a Bears fan, so she'll be used to... she always seems to not be happy about that, but is a fan. I don't know. Oh, Jim's on side as well. He might have a new 3D printer. 6mm game as well. Sorry, a 3D printer based 6mm game to talk about this week. What were the chances, eh? In fact, G's got a. Oh, so I was just about to put my brush down, but instead I'm going to switch brushes because I've still got to do sort of the face covering or the shemag or whatever we decide it is. I suppose I could try and do a bit of desert cam on this, depending how we go for time. Because when I'm ever ahead or anything, I like to just really see myself off and add some extra work for myself. Good like that. Oh, painting the face is going to be interesting. It's got some nice eye detail in there, even though it's sort of sunken. But trying to catch this edge. So one thing with the contrast, when you get to the edges, trying to keep the paint there because they move into the recesses, some requires you to have a bit more dedicated sort of ink put in. But yeah, if Jim's going to be having a chat about that. Are we doing another live show? As the last one ended up being live. I don't think it was meant to be. It was a good trial run though. We did get quite a few people listening in and such. That was really cool. Always nice to have people take part. And yeah, quick drink. Oh, that's good. It's not a brew. When I say that, I mean a cup of tea. Being a northern lad, I like me a cup of tea. Not so much this posh coffee stuff, this Starbucks you get from drive-thrus, but I like me a cup of tea. So, what next? So let that dry. I'm cautious to move around the face at the minute. So while that's drying, I'm just going to jump on the old weapon system, which I think Ralph mentioned earlier is called FAL. What do you reckon, Jim? Let me try and... What do you reckon? I was thinking like an SLR, the old British pre-SA-80. Which is a very good, powerful 7.62 rifle. Before we transition to 5.56. When you think about it, so we used to have guns that kill, and now we have guns that are more likely to injure because it takes more people out of the fight. Which is kind of weird when you think of rules of engagement mean that you're not really meant to injure deliberately, as in torture and such. I was doing my maths this week. It's where you sort of get re-offed for the sort of the basic knowledge of stuff that you should have. Most of it's online now. Technology is finally catching up with the British Army. You literally sit and just go through lessons. What's crazy is once you've reached a number of years, you can pretty much pass the test without needing to do the lessons, if I'm honest. Because you've done them that many times, most of it's stuck. The odd thing changes, but it changed a lot during the conflicts, such as Afghanistan, and things like unexploded ordnance, IED. That was a constant changing battlefield as the insurgent forces adjusted to what they saw as the standard drills of friendly forces. And I mean, they were really inventive in some ways as well. Because there was a stage when, for example, guys would use their fingers just to brush off the top of the device to get an idea of its sort of size and such without putting any real pressure on it. And their adjustment was to put a guitar string across it that when you strummed it essentially made the circuit and it would detonate. The ingenuity was considerable and meant that it was one of those real-time evolving conflicts, which is almost between the bombers and the guys trying to help friendly forces. You know, all the different sort of departments that dealt with clearing unexploded devices and the IEDs that have been marked and minefields and such. That'd be quite fascinating. It's a horrendous thing, obviously, but a fascinating form of warfare that you don't really think of. I know it's the evolutionary track of it is weekly, monthly, daily, as standard operating practices change to adapt, and then the bomb makers would adapt back. Trying to get in the hand without getting too much on it. Cool. Right, we're definitely going to do wooden stock. Just trying to see exactly where that would begin and end. Move excess off. One thing I've been thinking about recently, there's a number of game systems that I would like to have a force for that's legal, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I may ever play that game. I think I actually got my hand in the way then. I don't have them very often. But I'd definitely like to have a legal force regardless for what be it on the shelf or if I do go to an event. But with you playing it so little, you don't really want to have to buy a rulebook on how to build. So a lot of the time now you have army builders supported online by fans or by the company, which is nice. And I'd like to think that more companies do it. Oh, Jim's piped in. ID start off as little more than old Iraqi artillery shells and burner forms for the triggers. Yeah, I mean, that quickly changed with the sort of the... Oh, what were they called? We called it battable. It's basically the jamming systems, but used to have a number of them. But the counter... Oh, that's going to bug me. Counter Summit Suite. Your... Oh, man, it shows I've not been on tour for a while. I just used to rattle off. Even stuff like Ballons, you know, the minesweeping devices that we started to use that would pick up the smallest amounts of metals, so even stuff becoming more sensitive. Jamming systems is what I was trying to get at. Even down to how guys would sweep an area. Burner phones became obsolete pretty quick for us. Victim operated was more prevalent. That's the ones with pressure plates and such. Yes, lots of guys got injured on stuff like that. So I'm just going to do the butt of the rifle. I'm going to chuck on some Montang Brown, which is my usual go-to. I just need to get some on the pallet first. Get a bit of life into it with a bit of water. But coming towards the end of doing my minis now. After this guy, I think this guy's number 9. So, no, I think this guy might be number 10 actually. I've got one more support weapon, dude. Hey, Rasmus. Cheers for popping in, buddy. I think I've got one support weapon to do, which is an RPK. RPK? Jim. What's the support weapon we were using? I've forgotten. It's an AK variant. It's the longer one with the leaning forward drum magazine. The circular one. I want to say an RPK, but... That's cool. Well, if nothing else, I can waffle in your ear and hopefully not distract you too much. If you hear a loud scream at any point, I've done it purposely just to get you to jump up at your desks. See if we can get a rise out of you when you jump out your desk because I scream down the microphone. I wouldn't do that to you guys. Well, maybe. Who knows? No promises. Yeah, RPK, RPD. That was what I was trying to think of. So I was right in what I was thinking. So I've got another guy with that. That makes 2 in the sort of 13-man team. I've got 1 leader, 2 support weapons, 2 dickers, so not actual combatants as such. I think they'd make good. They're good miniatures, I think. They're from the Mina as well, from Spectre Minis. Same as this is another one of the Spectre Mini series. But for the African Militia. I think the guys on the mobile phones make really good objective markers for sort of, maybe they could be filming propaganda, maybe they're there specifically to send information, but definitely a good tool, good mini to have for your games. And they're really nice minis as well. Really nice minis. Well, as they all have been, to be fair. All very good quality. So we've got the weapon up and running. Right, let's see how garish this purpley pink thing is. This should be enlightening. Volupus, I sorry, I said volumus. Volupus pink. It looks very much like the pink from the Riddler. You know, you had the two-tone colour scheme, a purple sort of pink and the lovely vibrant green. It feels very much like that. I've got hiccups again. Hiccuping so bad I can hear my ear pop when I hiccup. Hopefully that's not being picked up on the camera. And if it is and you hear the regular beat, I'm sorry. That's me just hiccuping. Trying not to. Well, this should be interesting. I'm going to go for the back first, just to... Switched up to a larger brush again. Right. Oh yeah, that's got some colour to it. Marty will be proud. I've no doubt Marty's used this already. G's got them all, so if he didn't use it at home, he's used it at theirs. Oh, I've got this under bit as well. I don't know what to do with that. For now, we'll just colour it in and we'll see. Try not to get this onto the shorts at all with a big fat brush, which is probably a mistake. There's no probably about it. It is a mistake. It's just a matter of if it's going to bite me in the arse or not, really. You allowed to say arse? You're in the UK, I think. So just trying to make sure I don't leave any excess where I don't want it before it dries. If you want a bit more time to move it around, get one of the mediums that's specifically for contrast. Water doesn't work as well with this stuff because it's not really made to go with water. Whether that was a business choice or it's just a byproduct of the byproduct of the product. That's a good sentence, I guess. A byproduct of the chemistry of the paint itself, I'm not sure. Big fan though, big fan. As a base colour for doing all your work, it's fantastic. As I've probably said in every single video we've done. 5.45 variant RPD. RPD is 7.62, yeah. I always get mixed up. I know the RPD is older, the 7.62, which I can never remember which the drum mag leans forward. RPD is straight. Ah, okay, so RPK then, yeah. Sweet, sweet, sweet. See, Jim's our facts guy. He keeps us all straight and narrow. And if I can ever catch him wrong, I'll take great pleasure in lording that over him forever. But it's not happened yet, so I doubt it will. And this is bright. It's a really nice colour. Do like it. Do like it. I'm not sure it's meant to be on an Africa militiaman, but you know, like I say, we've got to do something for Marty every now and again. He has a particularly vibrant colour palette, does Marty. I feel like he had his head shaved recently for charity, which was absolutely awesome. I sponsored him. And he had these massive sideburns took off as well. I was wondering if it was just going to be his hair, but he ended up doing the sideburns as well, which I think is awesome because they were huge, and I imagine they take quite a while to grow. So I felt he really did give up something important to himself, which is always nice. So, I can't remember. I think they were up to a lot of money as well as the St. Patrick's charity. I want to say they were around. I want to say $13,000. It was a good chunk of change. I think those people must be all over the country doing it. But fantastic of Marty to give up his. I'd give up my hair, but there's not much of it left. I don't think it'd be that much of a sacrifice. Cool. So I've just switched out to the smaller brush just to get a bit more control for the around the inside of the hood and just to tidy up here and there as well. Hope some people find these useful, or if not, like, you know, even just Jim now and Rasmus just using it as almost like a podcast, I'd imagine. Just me waffling while I try not to screw up a model too much. I do enjoy these now, although I was particularly rushed today, which wasn't as enjoyable. I'm still enjoying doing them. They really are a good way for me to paint. I'm interested to see what the team are thinking of doing next, because not to look past the project that we're on, Jim's pretty much done, if not done, from what I understand. He absolutely smashed the transit game and the rules. I'm not sure if he's playtested the rules to a degree using I think it was the Somalia setting, basically a Black Hawk Down setting. I'm not sure, did you make many changes or anything with that, Jim? Did that sort of prompt any particular rules direction changes, or was it did you even minor updates based on what you got information wise from that? That'd be interesting to know. Get in and around the jacket, just in and around the wrist here. You won't cut your hair just yet. I've been told that it's a divorceable offence. Well, that's understandable then. There's other hair you could cut. Sorry, lowered the tone a little. Just a smidge. Can't have a full session without a bit of tone lowering. Wouldn't be normal. Would not be normal. So, obviously we were based around modern and such. And with recent events due to, obviously, the European setting and the world setting now of the coronavirus, which is, or was it COVID-19, COVID-17, which is making some real moves around the world. I think it's in 60 countries now. We had some more confirmed cases today. The impact is going up in everything. There's airlines going under due to lack of people flying, and you know, that's really nice. There's so much going on in relation to it. Oh, so Jim's on. Sorry, because to cut in. Jim's message back saying, yeah, need more detail and granularity. I had to read that twice on the militia reinforcement table. Okay. That's good then. So definitely got some good usage, some good. I was about to say PXR points, which is an exercise thing, but so good points and test and adjust what was needed to better fit what we're going to produce. That's awesome. Oh, very cool. This is actually really nice. So I'm just going to go a second layer now. The reason I'm doing it now, so I've got a lot of the shadow where I want it to be and where I don't want it to be. So at the minute, I'm just going to stick an extra layer on the crease at the bottom. This is just darken them areas to do the shadowing for me. Anywhere where it's a bit light on the actual crease. Same for just in there. There's some deeper areas that are pretty visually obvious. I can't speak. It's because I've got a cold. It's a cold. We've not got to the stage yet where, or at least I don't believe we have, where people are self-isolating at work. Yet. It's difficult not to talk about it, really. So much impact in the world. Alright, I'm happy where we're up to with that at the moment. Let's give that a quick wash. Tastes like chicken. Cool. So we've got skin is pretty much the next flat big colour, but in between, it's got 3 layers to do on the gun. So we're going to go back to the weapon system. I'm going to chuck on some Mechanica Standard Grey. Do this as like a first layer highlight, then a bit of a white highlight, and then if needs be, I chuck some no-no on it to dull it down. We'll see how that sits. A little bit on the palette, a little bit more than that. But yeah, one thing that the recent incident had me thinking, we don't see many minis in the nuclear, biological, chemical gear. Is that right? Is there many ranges that you guys can think of? Where the guys are in NBC or, you know, GSR, respirators? Is that catered for in the modern ranges anyway? And I know we've widened out to other ranges now, but that was our core, so just a question, a thought that I had the other day that I'd like to put out in amongst the team. And Mr. Erasmus, who's pretty much a team member anyway. It's family. So we're just going to do a highlight here and there with this. Then we'll go back over some of it with the white after. Because that'd be an interesting rule set to have to write, where in a chemical environment a game would be played. It completely changes visibility, changes skill sets. With 2 peer forces, it'd be fairly straightforward, I think, because the drills, regardless of which nation you're from, are going to be very, very similar, if not the same. And it's more about the equipment that you have available to you to protect yourself and its durability as much as anything. But I can't think of a game that would cater to warfare in a chemical environment. And like I say, it's an absolute game changer in relation to rule systems, casualties, equipment and vehicles, downtime. Campaigns would be interesting if you went to chemical. In fact, Jim, you thought about chucking it in HK Ops? Bit of chemical warfare, shake it up a bit. Okay, so not in modern, but maybe at some of the smaller scales. If you heard an unusual sound then, that was me drinking the last of my My drink from Burger King. Yeah, I'm a pain. So we've done the base layer sort of highlight on the gun. So you can just see the greys have just picked out some areas. I just want to get one more slither on that magazine. You can see the dark spot that I probably mean here. Just going to widen that out just a touch. There we go. Happy with that. Yeah. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So we can jump in with a base colour now for the series of penalties for troops having to do everything in mop gear. Yeah, I figured that would be the case. I don't know if you could tie it into campaigns and such. I think it'd be, like I say, a good equaliser. Well, I say equaliser. I suppose most forces, when it comes to peer enemies, are pretty equal to begin with anyway.
Are you looking to be...
Oh, beg your pardon. You just got a flash. I was just lining it up for towards the end of the show. While I had a moment. Always happens. Go back. Welcome. Welcome. We're nearly finished, dude. No, we're not. I've still got a ways to go yet. We're just talking about NBC and stuff, which nuclear, biological, chemical in games and warfare, and how we don't see that often even mentioned. Never mind games based around it. If one side was mop equipped and the other not, and the effects are so devastating, it almost wrecks the game. Yeah, agreed. Definitely agreed. It'd have to be peer enemies that are well equipped. But can you imagine having to roll something like, I don't know, a D10, taking a certain characteristic into skills and drills based on elite troops, normal troops, levels of training, so that some of your guys might not get on their gear quick enough, and then having to deal with the casualties or dragging them into cover, depending on if it's liquid nerve agent, if it's gas, if it's the various elements. Because if they're in a tent and it's a liquid nerve agent, the tent's likely going to hold it up long enough for everybody to be geared up and such. You could really, really use it as a tool to shake up a game in a good or a bad way. But for the RPG stuff, I think that could be a very interesting mechanism to, one, create casualties immediately based on poor rolling, poor skills and drills, so to speak. And two, you've now got to deal with a casualty of a different type. So atropine pen, knowing to put the morphine in if it's a practical injury happened at the same time as in a gunshot wound, having to prioritize your triage certain ways, bringing in and out equipment based on the fact you're now in a chemical environment. You could mix up some stuff there, Jim. Seems to be off to one side a lot today on the camera. Make sure we get the skin covered. Okay, so Jim's, if you're watching the chat, Jim just weighed in on it in relation to how it plays out into some game systems. That it's a single artillery strike. Even if you know it's coming, guys that would already be in the gear for an ambush or an attack, while that siren's going off, you are literally in a world of crap. If the threat state's already there, the guys will already be in the majority of the gear and they'll just have to resi up, if they were already in it fully anyhow. But newer gear is not too bad. The visibility is pretty good in modern gear. The old gear was terrible. They used to steam up a lot. It's really difficult to give commands. I've done some exercises where you're there as a section leader on a patrol and you're trying to brief your guys up and you're literally having to run over and stick in the side of your mask next to their ear so they can hear you. It is a A real pain in the arse. We're back to arse again. We've had arse twice today. Your players will quit if you nuke them too often. I don't know. I remember it being fine in Starship Troopers. Just send a nuke down the bug hole, yeah? I don't know if you've watched that one, Jim. But everybody else has, so they knew what I was talking about. Got a lot of time where you can just take a atropine pen and it stops the nuclear part of the equation as well. Stops you from melting. So, I don't know if I said what this is. This is Bugman's Glow. Hi, this is Bugman's Glow. It's nice to meet you. Which is what I use pretty much on, especially for this range that we've done as the base colour for everything. Then we do a bit of Cadian flesh, well, Ryclin flesh shade, then Cadian, then back to this, then some Cadian flesh tone. And we see if I've screwed it up or not. I had trouble with one of their mouths for ages. It was fighting me. I lost that fight. You just have to come to a point sometimes where you just go, you know what, it is okay. It's just not exactly what you wanted. I don't think anybody, maybe ever, has finished a miniature and said, you know what, there is nothing else I can do with that. I am 100% happy. I would never come back to it, no matter how good I got. Oh yes, dabble in sci-fi. Well, it is quite a funny film. Well, the first one is. I don't know how many they made in the end. I think it's 4 or something. Did get a little crazy. Never was quite the same again either. It's one of them. Such a good first series. Michael Ironside was in it. Gotta love Jester. Some film references there for you people. Jester's dead. Woohoo. That's almost topical at the moment. Being this the year of the sequel. Don't nuke us Sunday. Well, I might have been hinting towards that, Rasmus. Did you pack that gear? I saw you had a lot of claymores. I'm not sure if you packed your NBC gear, though. The last one is also good. Is it? Really? The middle ones can be avoided. 100%. If I do, blame Gaz. Hey, even better, I'll get to enjoy it while it happens, guys. In fact, this Sunday, maybe not. I've got to go to a mate's house. Depends what time I get back. It's always when you get to these strange angles that you see the gaps. So there's a gap there for his shirt. There's one right at the top that I need to push the Volupus pink or whatever it was called into the gaps. It's never at the time, for me at least. Never. Never, never, never. In fact, I've just found the cuff of his sleeve, not even done under it. See? Just there is the sleeve, and this is his hand. Need some more water. Here we go. It's not as bright as I thought it'd be, that pink, which is kind of good and kind of bad. I was hoping for it to be quite garish and, you know, eye melting. It's probably the best time. But actually, it's quite a nice muted colour now. I do have some models that are Riddler models, so when I do them, I think I might need to thin it down. This has actually been quite a good test for me. Even though it wasn't really planned, it was just how it came together. I'll take that away. Sunday 1 p.m. 6 p.m. my time. So yeah, I'm still out then, and then I've got a Skype call with family from about 6:37. Depending on how long you guys are on for, I might catch it later on. But I might not make this one, unfortunately, which is a shame. I wanted to see Rasmus get nuked. Just a dirty bomb would do, Jim. It doesn't have to be a nuke. Just a dirty bomb. That's what they always say in the film. I remember A Sum of All Fears. In fact, that was a small nuke from what I remember. Right, I've got to get into the eyes without trying to screw up the colours so much. So, let's get a good angle. I say the eyes, it's the face, but predominantly the eyes and the nose here. Yeah, pretty much most of that actually in a one, which is good. Just need to push it around a little bit deeper. It's an unusual statement on a podcast. Eh? Say a podcast. It's a bit of both. It's a video as well. Video stream podcast. Cool. Right, let's start those couple of areas I screwed up. Oh, didn't screw up, just didn't do everything. Ooh, see? Save the nuke for a later session. Scorebacks on it though. They're in a country that has allegedly used chemical weapons in the war. Did you pack? Eh? If the gear's in the rear, it's no good there. We could be seeing people being melted on Sunday. I might even put like one earpiece in to listen to it if it happens like that. I'm going to message Jim off camera, find out if he's going to melt him or not. Bit of sarin gas would be quite nice, Jim. I say nice, it's really nasty, but nice for RPG. I think Saddam Hussein was very good at mixing. Alright, guys, Gareth, how are you? My fellow namesake, nice to have you on board. I used to mix. Which one was it? Blister Agent. I used to mix Blister Agent with sarin. So by the time you got your respirator out and on, your face and stuff were blistering, so you might not get a good seal, which means the sarin gas would kill you. Nasty as hell, but that's a smart move. Even if you've got good skills and drills. They used to say 9 seconds to get your respirator on, but if you're carrying it in your hip pouch, yeah, sometimes it might take a little longer. But if you're already blistering, because you're exposed outside, there's parts of you blistering, that time's going to run up, you know? Very much so. We're talking some nasty stuff today then, aren't we? Nice welly bobs. Why, thank you, sir. That was from the vote on the Facebook page. We had a bit of a conflab, I think is a good term. Got together, chucked around. There was a couple of ideas. Lime green was one. Red was one. Red got a couple of extra likes, therefore Red Welly Bob is ears. Named after the Duke of Wellington, of all people. Strange how that they ended up being called Wellington boots, eh? Or is that fact or myth? I refer to our history director, Jim. Is that fact or myth? Jim will be now getting caught at work looking at Wellington boots. for Noah. How do you explain that one? Like, yep, one of the lads mentioned Wellington boots, therefore I'm just doing a bit of research on it. No, I like how this is actually sat down in the end. I thought it'd be much more bright. I'm very happy that it's actually quite dark in places, but light in others. So this area here is really nice and light, as is the sleeves. It's actually quite a nice colour. I do like that. And even though these are all essentially right up there colour scheme wise, especially the red boots, they're not so out of place. Oh, Ralph's back in the room. 9 seconds was the same number they used to tell us. Yeah, I imagine it'd be like a standard thing, won't it, for across nations. Missed the vote, would have gone rainbow. Oh, I'm kind of glad you missed the vote right now. Cheers, girl. From now on, I will purposefully not send you the link with answers like that. Cool. So, skin is dried by now, so I'm just going to quickly wash the skin with a bit of Ryclin Flesh Shade. And then we're probably going to clean the brush and jump onto the gun. There's not actually much with the skin to do in relation to the legs, especially. It's not quite where the knee would be. So I've not got a lot of texture to play with to do a decent sort of skin. There's no muscles to play with. There's no kneecaps to do. It's literally probably just going to be a flat skin colour with no anatomy. Is probably the best term. Oh, stretch me back. Getting older. So a quick wash over the hand. Same for the second one. Just gonna drag it across the fingers, get it into the grooves. Want to get in the groove. Up to the thumb and palm of the hand. There we go. I can breathe a bit more now. Right, let's take some excess off for the eye area. Need a bit more back on. Give and take. Just to darken the bit by the chamois. It's going to be interesting doing that a little bit. This is probably one of the least skin, I think. So, except for the odd one with the hand. Because the face is covered so much as well. It's definitely one that's got less than a lot I've had. Oh, cool. So Ralph's looking at doing some painting as well this weekend. Content English Heritage, it was true that the Duke invented and commissioned the first wellies. Wonder why. Did he have like a swampy garden? Just decided one day that needed to be addressed. So I'm going to spice up with some Evil Scarlet, these Wellingtons. New historical editor. There you go. Done. You've just got yourself a job. Jim's able to now sit on the back burner and chill out for a bit. Jim would have been all over that like a rash, apart from the fact he's at work. And he's not on lunch, which I thought he was. But my time appreciation is obviously not where it should be. Cool. Right, let's see how this sits on these wellies. Where to begin? So if it screws up, it doesn't matter. The heel. Oh, that's punching it up a bit. Thin it down just to get a thin layer over that dark bit. Oh, go around the toes. Let's do a little bit going down as well. going to focus on military footwear throughout the ages. I imagine you hit a spot where it's pretty much the same. Rag wrapped around the feet of British archers at Agincourt and such before it picks back up, unless you're looking at, I suppose, the knights and maybe the men at arms would have had something a bit different. You know, it's something you don't really look at on many models. I was just thinking of, obviously, Zula and such, and I imagine it was a type of boot, maybe a gaiter at that point. Oh yeah, that red's punching up nicely now. And to the toe cap, same again. So yeah, that red, the evil scarlet, evil sun scarlet. I was right in almost every aspect except of the confidence in myself to say the whole thing. Ah, got some on the leg. Quick repair. No. Dries quick under these lamps. So quickly back to the skin. Just touch that out. Cool. Get it back off again. Back to red. Caligula. Oh, I've missed a few. Congrats. Thanks. LOB. Military Toe Detectors podcast. Only if you double up with me, it'll be the two Gareths. New name for Caligay, Old Roman Sandals. That's a whole different website. Is that leather website that you regularly go on, Jim? So we're getting this vibrancy up on the wellies. Them being the stars of the show. On this mini, yeah. It's only because he's not got flip-flops, let's be honest. Which means he's not the number one guy. Disappointing. We all know by now, the number one guy has to be in flip-flops. It's become a thing. I wonder what the next thing's going to be. Something as dumb as flip-flops as the current one. Cool. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, them wellies are rocking now. Got some nice subtle shadowing through sort of this centre section here. More so on the inside where it's catching the shadow. Yeah, happy with that. Happy with that. That's it. So I quite like these shorts. This time I took out most of the excess, so actually the shorts are pretty much there already. They've highlighted themselves. The last time, unfortunately I've put the model away to protect it, but I left the brown in here so strong that it dried almost shiny, so similar to this but stronger, and made it not as nice. Is that a vulgar Caligula? We're even varying spellings and stuff now. So I'm going to jump quickly back on the skin, and we've done the wash, so I'm literally just going to go back over the area with the Bugman's Glow. Wow, my brain is definitely not connected at the minute. That's what happens when you come straight from work and sit down to do a 2-hour podcast. Looking forward to getting a cup of tea after. Not gonna lie. So we're not going all the way to the... we'll go a little higher actually. Not all the way to the recess, but we've gone a considerable way. Just want to get these fingers individually. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. We've left the webbing alone. That's a Suffolk joke. That's a British thing. Ralph might understand that one. He's from the wrong end of the country for him to maybe know it. But he's from the right end of the country because he's a northern lad. Ah, eh? You alright, our kid? It's a northern thing. Got a great post off of my mate Mark the other day to do with, it was a weather warning. All southerners should stay indoors and not travel unless absolutely necessary. And then underneath it said, northerners, you'll need a big coat. Little things. Most people won't even get these jokes. They're kind of jokes. They're kind of a culture thing as well. It's tight in there. So just got to be careful here that we get what we need to and not what we don't, because it'll be very hard to start. So on there we've just done the eyes, a little bit above and below each eye, and the nose to give it some work. Greyhound. I've not even heard of that one, to be honest. Not even heard of it. Tom Hanks, eh? Still missed a bit on this bloody model. There must have just been an air pocket just in the corner here by the rifle butt. So the purpley pink is not quite... You can literally only see it from a couple of angles. Of which I just got one. Yeah. Done. I'm going to quickly grab a bit of white, chuck it in the brown that we did for the butt. Stock. Just to lighten it up. And then from there, oh, yeah. I just split off some white off to the side as I realised I had quite a bit on the brush and was about to screw up the brown. So just a little bit of a highlight. A little bit lighter. Don't check time today, you know, guys. I'll have to have a look in a sec, see how we're doing. So just a little bit of a highlight on it. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do the inboard side and the top corner of the butt. He said butt. And while we've got the white up and running, I've kept some aside specifically. Just need to clean the brush. Caption of a US ship protecting the convoys across the Atlantic in World War II. Okay. In fact, Jim, when we were chatting the other day, one of your relatives passed away, sunk by a U-boat in the journeys back and forth. Was he Merchant Navy, I think you were saying, or... I do remember us having a briefly touching on the history, bit of your family history. Ah, just caught an edge there. That's completely balls out. I'll have to come back to that. Yeah, we've gone quiet for a little bit. Just because I ballsed up that first one mainly. Yeah, we've had our first balls tonight, I think. There's normally a lot more by now, I'll be honest. I'm going to get the side of the barrel a bit more as well. Not too much, so I've just wet my thumb just to take the excess off. And come back to it from this side. A little bit there. There we go. Bit on the bottom. Cool. Switch sides. You watched a Little Wars vid? Yes, I did. I even watched it after the annoying mistake. I was very disappointed with the massive mistake at the beginning. It was kind of weird to watch because it was such a small segment rather than... found it difficult, let's say. Jim's not allowed to watch it. He might foam at the mouth and shout at the telly. It'll put him in a bad mood for a week or two. Disappointing. If you're kind of going to do a historical, here's a look at and refer history, for such a small historical segment that they did, you really need to make sure the facts are right. So, massively overdone the barrel because of the mistake, and I've got the white bits here that are too bright. And we're going to fix them with a bit of a non-oil. Yeah, I don't know. People are passionate, but yeah, I don't know. The guys did a good job of the video itself and such, although I was expecting to see more of the game. It kind of just cut into cutscenes. I don't know if there's a full, here's the whole game anywhere. So because I went too low in places, I've just chucked some non-oil, and we're just basically sweeping the lower half of the barrel to darken it back down and give us that differing colour again, because I've lost it due to the white that we put on to highlight other areas. It's a nice easy fix. It's also really good on bright white spots. So I've got one here, so we're just going to feather it over, and that should take the edge off that, which is nice. Obviously the one where I screwed up here might take 1 or 2 layers. There we go. Let's do a drag on the finger. I'm going to accentuate the 2 lines here that are dark. 1, 2. And this is the joy of, you can always go back and repair, guys. It doesn't need to be a great repair necessarily, just one that you're happy with. That white's still a bit bright, but now it's just on the gun section, so we'll just dull that down. And that gives us now back to a sort of recognisable weapon system. You can sort of see all the detail without it being lost. The jacket now really pops with that weapon, I think. Might be wrong. Normally are. Got 6 new minis wanting to paint for a World War II game idea. That's awesome, Ralph. I look forward to seeing your stream. It's all set up for you. I'll get G to message you all the stuff. I look forward to it. Come on, Ralph. You can do it. I know you can. All you have to do is agree. What we're going to do with this top. Oh, wow. No. That might work. Yeah, I think that'll work. We'll go with some pink horror. I'm going to highlight this top. I don't stream. Well, you might be streaming tears if you're made to. Oh, somebody outside singing on the way past. Wants to get in on the show. So I'm going to grab a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of this, a bit of Dewberry, a bit of Firkin. No camera, and I don't. I like how you even bothered with the no camera bit. You should just done the... No, I don't. We know. We love you for other reasons. So let's see how this sits on. So this is just a quick looking to highlight the top. So there's various areas that should be light. So the top of the hood here, obviously I've got a big dark patch. That is nil pois, no good. The shorts I'm happy with, the wellies I'm happy with. We've not come back to the skin. I forgot to do the knees, didn't I, when I did the skin? Idiot. Silly boy. So we'll have another mooch around that. But first, we're gonna, where to start? I want to see if this colour works. Start at the base. Yeah, that's good. That's not too much of a jump. It's nice and thin, as we always try to do. A little easier to correct as well if it's wrong. We're just going to go for what the obvious highlighted areas are, now that the contrast has shown me where to go. It's not so thick it'll cover in one coat, so we can afford to push and pull it around a bit and sort it out. It gives us a bit of time. Cool, 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 cool. Peer pressure. Then 2 more Delta files and then I'm off for lunch for real. Picked up the Warlord Canoe Commandos and British snipers to do a Spectre World War II game idea. Alright, cool. Warlord Canoe Commandos. Is that... I want to say it's obviously not the single man. Are we talking like river crossing stuff? I mean, we've kind of all seen a bridge too far when the Americans dropped off the little boats. But no, sorry, I beg your pardon. The British dropped off the little boats for the Americans, and they were like fold out, paper thin, just about will do the job sort of gear, which is pretty much average military gear then. So again, we're just hitting the high spots without covering everything, or trying to anyway, he says. Top of the shoulders, some of the arm here should be a bit more pink. Oh, we have links. There are links up on board. Cockle Shell Heroes. Is it Molly Malone? Crying cockles and mussels. Alive, alive, oh. Nearly broke into song. Realised we would lose everybody watching and stopped myself. It's probably a good thing. This may not be the first podcast to cause people's ears to bleed, but if I start singing, you know, it would definitely be the last time you probably listened. I used to sing before my voice broke in the choirs and such. Many, 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 many moons ago. Many. The voice of an angel. No longer. Okay. Cool. This is dulling it down nicely in places that's dark without being too in your face, which is kind of cool. You can't beat a pink hoodie, eh? Unless they borrowed the wives or the daughters, maybe. I don't know. Don't get me wrong, men can wear pink. I'm just not sure it's a popular colour for them in Libya. I'm happy to be proven wrong, though. Jim, we need a pink hoodie guy. Joke. Have we got any hoodie guys? So I'm just... You got that front pocket that you get in hoodies where you put your hands on either side. So we're just highlighting the lower side of that so it stands out a little bit. Let's get back to the lowest point again. A little bit of colour for the same low point on that side. I think we're going to... I'm going to lighten up the drawstrings considerably. So I'm going to avoid them for now and come back. But we definitely want the edge of the hood to be nice and poppy. Pink hoodie, nice. Was definitely not where I was going to go to begin with. I didn't have a concept, but it definitely wouldn't have been pink. But, you know, it's about being historically correct, isn't it, Jim? Pink hoodies. The Libyan, not Libyan, African, because we're going with the African medals from Spectre. So the African hoodie of choice this season for the Militia was a pink hoodie. Potentially borrowed from another family member. I'm going to have to look at the messages in a sec, 'cause it's been a while. Oh my god, Ralph's run away with it. I'm actually going to have to scroll back. Reference line. Alright, yeah. What did you expect, destroyers? See, Jim knows his war film buffs. Operation Frankton was a commando raid on ships in the Nazi German-occupied French port of Bordeaux in the southwest France during World War II. The plan was for the 6 kayaks, called canoes by the British, loosely termed, to be taken to the area of the Gironde, I'm going to go with if it's French, estuary by submarine. 12 men would then paddle by night to Bordeaux. On arrival, they would attack the docked cargo ships with limpet mines and escape overland. Nice. Why do we always send the guys back overland? Men from No. 1 section were selected for the raid, including the commanding officer Herbert Blondie Hasler and the reserve Marine Collie. The team was 13 in total. 1 canoe was damaged while being deployed from the submarine, and it and its crew therefore could not take part. Only 10 men went. So they were crammed in that then. From the submarine, survived the raid. Hasler is number 2 in the canoe. Bill Sparks of the 8. 6 were executed by the Germans while 2 died of hypothermia. Cheers, Ralph. To be fair, you typed as much, I think, as anybody else in that very short period of time. If I keep the pink hoodie, you have to paint juicy or princess or sexy on the back. No, Jim. No. Not today. The honest truth is I've not got the willpower to do it all the time. What time is it? Oh, we're an hour and 25 minutes in. I'm still not doing too bad then, actually. But no. I'm done taking... Just write this on there. What was the last one? Put a logo on his shirt or something. I think it was the last one. You guys. You can do it. There is no way any self-respecting militiaman. He's gone far enough by wearing a pink hoodie, dude. I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he could live down having a pink sexy hoodie. Not necessarily that he's going to survive if he comes up against the operators. Don't get me wrong. I'd vote for Juicy as well. It was add the apps to the phone. That was it. See, these guys break me. Cut, copy, and paste. He'd vote for Juicy. I failed to paint the apps on the phone. See, the scary thing is somebody out there can do that. It's not me. But there is guys that can do that crazy level of detail and it look superb. I'd love to be that guy one day. Not in the too distant future, a few years maybe, if I live that long. If I don't die of Burger Kings first. Well, not just Burger Kings, it's McDonald's and other ones too. Do like a pizza. One thing I found I don't like, and it's probably just because of Dawn and John, I managed to get a bad batch from my first one. Tacos. I don't understand a taco. Doesn't really fill you. Has barely anything in it. And even if it did, it's kind of, yeah. A kebab, I understand. And I'm pretty sure even Rasmus will know well the kebab because of the likes of Commodore Rob after a boot camp or such at OTT. What was Beast of War? The visit to the kebab shop became part of the required done things, I suppose is the best way of putting it. Hashtag paint juicy hoodie. Bring a microscope to the game table so people view some of the detail. Tacos are great, you just need to eat 4 or 5. They don't taste nice. They're like rubbish. Not a fan. Not a fan. We did have a bad batch. Even the girls said we had a bad batch. But I don't really get them. They're kind of lame. It's like somebody's really tried to save money on a sandwich. Or a tortilla wrap. I like a tortilla wrap. Being on one of Commodore Rob's Madcap kebab. See? Jim knows about so a kebab, I understand. You come away from a kebab filled with miscellaneous meat, of which you're not sure what animal it ever came from, and a very large pita bread or wrap. So you kind of understand what you've come away with. And very rarely do they not fill you. And it's very much, if you've had some beverages of an alcoholic nature, a kebab sorts you right out. And maybe, with possible exception of maybe a curry being one of the other challenging factors, the food of choice when inebriated. You get chicken, you get doner, you get all sorts. I keep forgetting, Rasmus, you were over here for quite a long time. I bet you still didn't know what the meat was, though. It's kebab de rata. What? Rat kebab. Alright, yeah, I'll give that a go. I've had 10 beers, that sounds good. 10 beers is a lot. Normally switch to shots before then. So we're just coming up to the top of the hoodie now. So we've really took the edge off. You can see the original colour scheme on the top of the hoodie to the lower portion. It's muted the colours quite nicely actually, and brought out the Wellingtons and some of the other areas a bit more, which I'm very much a fan of. But I think what I will do at the end is I'm probably just going to chuck a wash, maybe a thin down red wash over this, because I just want to bring back some of the punchiness, but not all of it, and bring it into a different, bit more in line with the Wellingtons, if that makes sense. Let's get that crown, make sure we've got a good strong colour on the crown, which would be the highest point. Just coming up. Cool. So I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to grab some Cadian flesh tone, mix in a bit to the previous skin tone, and we'll go from there, really. Nobody knows. Same with tacos. The kebabs in this neighbourhood are great, but why is it so quiet? No dogs barking at all. Yeah, that's true. Very true. Cool. So I've chucked down some Cadian. It's a bit lighter than I want, so I'm just going to grab a bit of Bugman's and mix that in. Cool. So I think I've got it up a tone. We shall see when I paint it on the fingers now. Ooh, got excess water. So I just want to see if this is actually lighter. Yeah, it is. So we're not going to go all the way as far as we did last time with it. So I'm happy the gun's done, the stock's done, the wellies are done. We're going to do this layer of skin now. Make sure we get the tops of the fingers as well. Don't need to do that side of the hand now because it's on the underside. Top of the thumb tier, top of the thumb tier. Side of the palm. Bridge of the nose. Cool. Touch the eye on one. Under the eye on the other because there's no skin above it that I can see. Oh, got some shakes on that side. And then these knobbly knees. Let's get some colour, smooth these badges out. So that'll be the calf. Really high, but just do a little bit on either side. There's going to be a bit of a join here, so I think we'll go slightly above and round it and slightly below. Try and leave the middle. Smooth the colour out here a little bit. Not much visibility on that side. Wow, the colour's not smooth there at all, so keep the darkness towards the top where the shorts will give it some shadow, but put a thin layer. Again, just away from the top, so there's a bit of a transition. A bit more on the brush. Kebab is Turkish, isn't it? Is that right? I want to say it's Turkish, I'm not 100%. Oh, awkward angle. In the shadow, can't even see the light. That'll do. Work it, baby, work it. A little bit more, strengthen the back and that trigger finger. Gotta see the trigger finger. Right, this wash. Let's grab the red. And we're going to use the Caribou. Let's have a look. Caribou Crimson we're using. I'm going to control where I use it as well, but we're going to mix it with the medium, Larian medium, because I don't want it to be too thick. So I don't know why I'm shaking the ink so much, but we've done that anyway. Grabbing the bigger brush. We shall see what we shall see in a second. So it is quite a strong, darker, pinky pigment. So it should sit quite well. So's the idea. Get a reasonable amount on the palette so I can mix in and control it. Wash the brush. Dry the brush. Make the brush a point. And into the medium. So I've got some in the lid. Chuck that across. That's took it nice. We'll see what that looks like. So this is a massive shot in the dark. I'm not really sure how this is going to come out. Just make sure this medium's all the way through it. Cool. Right, let's get the excess off. Well, I could have screwed up this whole thing in a second. We shall see. So as you can see, we've kept it very thin. It's just making the pink pop just nicely. I think that's because, again, it's a red red base colour. It's taken away that, well, we'll see when it dries, but it looks like it's taken away the sort of the pastel-y finish. Trouble with games with points lists and tournaments, you just got 8 more pirates to paint, just as I do. I tweet the list, yeah, sod's law. It's one of the reasons I've started getting the 3D printer, to be able to print some of my own minis to mix in to some of the new game systems. The Titan Forge deal at the minute is incredible, and I am so chuffed I got in on it earlier. I'm going to be printing whole armies now at home instead of buying them, which is a good thing in some ways and a bad thing in others. Obviously I don't want the market to go under due to that type of potential, because you don't need to buy from the high street in a lot of the games anymore. That's the risk. Something we definitely could bring up as a subject to chat about in one of the episodes this year, because literally, you know, you can pick up a good 3D printer for around 200 quid. So yeah, it is now viable at home to have a printer that's capable of producing high-end models. The STL files are out there, so not all free, don't get me wrong, based on quality, but yeah, danger, danger, Will Robinson. Danger, danger. That's working. That's working it. It's working it. Working it nicely. So look at him now. So yeah, we'll let that dry. But yeah, I think that's... It's made him look like he's in a PVC jacket. No, it should dry. Now to lunch and a smoke. Almost time for a coffee and a web conference. Not as fun as the one on Sunday. I imagine not, Rasmus. I imagine not. You got nobody to shoot. So now, I don't know why I just cleaned that, because I'm going to go and I'm going to chuck this on the welly bobs. Again, because we've got some natural shadows done with the paint now, or at least an attempt at natural shadows with the paint. This will hopefully add a bit of zing to the wellies. I love the term wellies. What a great name. Don't go wrong, it's Wellington boots, but the shorthand of wellies is awesome. I think I'm going to bring the skin up just one more. Cool. That's that. Clean the brush. 3D printers are very temperamental still, so still a ways to go before plastic goes away. Even then, plastic will be faster to produce. I take it you've not seen the new 3D printer. Don't get me wrong, it's still out the price bracket, but basically now, full model, high detail, 15 minutes. Admittedly, that's a single. And we're talking about being able to do this at home, so you're not necessarily looking at mass production. But if you can print a whole bed in 15 minutes, wow. It's a new way of curing the resin that's caused it. Something they'd not really done before, as always. Something they've never really done before. But yes, I think we're looking at 3 or 4 years and you can pretty much pick one up at Staples that'd be well within the price bracket, and a number of brands that are consistent. As to breakages, I think that's per printer. One of the lads I know, he's ran his Photon for 3 years and he pretty much runs it. If he's not away, he runs it. So as in when he's out it's running, but when he goes away on holiday it wouldn't be running. And he's only had to fix one piece of glass that he broke, and something else. One of the tightening devices gradually gave up. But he said from what he was doing, crazy. Liquid resin is very toxic. Yep, very true. It is 100%. I suppose what will come in time is a way of just ejecting the cartridge putting it into a certain bin, and off it'll go to the correct place, and you'll pay a fee for it. Kind of like it is now, to be honest, when it comes to stuff like refrigerant. So we're just going to bring this up one more on the skin. The good thing is, at my workplace, we have waste disposal for toxic. Hell, I am the FLAP rep, as in fuels, lubricants, adhesives, petroleums. I deal with COSH, I deal with, at the moment we're packing dangerous goods. Although I'm not qualified to categorise, all I have to do is go and do it like a week and a half course. It's death by PowerPoint, it's not going to be rocket science to get that qual. Because we're deploying soon with some particularly nasty stuff, from paint strippers to R134 and R135 refrigerant. The penguin killers, they're big fines, they're six-figure fines if you vent that stuff to atmosphere. Just bear in mind our aircraft have them in that it's like a car, if it has a leak and you don't know, you've already vented it to atmosphere. It's not really your fault at that point, but up until you just crack off a hose it is. I don't understand, they can't really enforce that one, because that's like an industrial thing. Because they'd never know if you'd done it or not by accident. Let's get some knobbly knees. Yeah, you gotta be really careful handling the liquid resin. PPE, people, PPE. You can go online and see the safety data sheets for it and how nasty the stuff actually is, just based on its manufacturing number and the name of the manufacturer. The website's HSIS, and I can't remember what that stands for right now. It's one of those things that you know for the test and then don't bother to remember, because it's not, the name is not really that important until you do a stream that for some reason it comes up on. Back to, so I was a bit slapdash around the fingers on the left hand. When I say left hand, whenever I refer, I don't know if it's a military thing or not, you always refer to the first person. So when I say left hand, it's his left hand, not the left hand as I look at it. Not too much on the brush. So I'm just going to reinforce the gap in the fingers here by dabbing it. Trying not to get too much on the skin. And that was just me dragging it to the side instead of taking my time and sweeping it up and down. Just lost some of the... Then I'm just going to feather it up here to take some of the edge off that one. Cool. Yeah. I'll tell you what, he's come together quite nicely. What time are we on? 1 hour and 43. I think I'm done, and it's early. Last time I was close. This time I'm beating it. It's only took me 10 models to get to actually do it on time. But, yeah. I do have time to write Juicy on it, but I'm not going to. One, Juicy's going to be really hard. I don't even know what it should be position-wise. I'll tell you what I will do, though. Because we have time in excess, I'm going to grab the white and sort out those... cheers, Jim. Beat the clock. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? That doesn't happen normally. Normally there's a lot of swearing, because now I need to look over the model and find all the places I've missed. I did it too late last time and ended up going past the clock. Might have watered that down too much. Let's have a look. Yeah, 100%. Watered my white down too much. Another bit of white. Cool. So all I wanted to do is basically pick out these drawstrings. Just gonna nice and easy do some white ones. I'm gonna let the colour shine through a little bit. I've left a deliberate gap at the bottom, you know, to that sort of, you know, the plastic ends you get, they're almost like a shoelace end for threading them through. I wanted to keep that. Cool, cool. Switch sides. Just making sure we go at least some way to reinforcing the colours at the sides, so it's not as showing through quite as much. He hopes. Cool. Oh, that's nicer. I like that. It's broke it up a little bit. I hope some of that was on camera. I've just realised it might not have been. But yeah, that's brought that up quite nice. Could do yellow ducks on the boots. Juicy o'clock. How the hell? What colour? What colour would you do juicy on the back? Speak to me, people. You're putting me under pressure here, but you're not giving me all the information. Is it just going to be white? I'm literally going to sit here now and wait for your answer. What colour should the word juicy be? Should it be yellow? Gold? No, it doesn't really suit with that colour. White with a black rim. Oh, cheers, Rasmus. No way to make it easy for me. Do you know when you love to hate somebody? Oh my god. White with a black rim. How small? You know, it's 5 letters and it's literally the width of the hairs on my brush are as wide as a gap as I've got to write it. Oh, gold edging. Yeah, that's not happening. Although I did think gold myself, but yeah, that's not happening. If we're going to do it, we're going to keep it simple. How long have I got? How long have I got to... If I screw up the back, have I got time to repair it in the 2 hours? I've got 14 minutes-ish to do a juicy sign on the back. The word juicy. Juicy, juicy, juicy. Right, let's have a look. So, I always fall to peer pressure. I'm so weak. Right, in that case, a black rim. So we're going to have to essentially start with a bad and black and then paint the white into the black. Which means I'll have to go to a grey, which luckily we've got because of what we do with the gun. If this goes drastically wrong, guys, you better stay with me while I repair it. I'll try to repair it. Gold edging is out. I'm not doing gold. Gold requires, well, one, I'm not sure I've got some golds here, but not many. And I don't want to screw it up that badly. I can probably repair black and white. Okay, so let's thin this black just a touch so I can keep some shape. Yeah, that should do. Let's take the excess off. Right, tissue is going to be involved in this one because we're going to have to control how much black's on the back to keep the letters right. Juicy, 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 juicy. Where has juicy come from, guys? Does this mean I've got a... Wait a sec. I've got a link. Let me just check this link. Oh, Jim, it's not actually a link. I can't click on it to go straight to it, so I'm not going to chase that one. The other ones were blue normally that says it's a good link. Have you cut some of it off or something? Right. Juicy. Juicy. J. Just trying to space it first. J, U, I, C, Y. So J. Man, this is thin. Need some more water. I'm already thinking this is actually a mistake, which is not good. Yeah, there won't be much talking during this bit. Maybe that's why you make me do it. bloody juicy. Juicy my ass. Don't know why I do these things for you guys. Too late now, Jim. Let me have a look. What? That's not even the same colour scheme. Yeah, you're not getting that. I'm not doing no fancy crap. That's got like special letters on it, and it might as well be in calligraphy. Because maybe with practice, you're getting like juicy with an exclamation mark. You're getting my version of juicy, look. Juicy Lucy. I feel like I'm doing a bloody Judge Dredd model rather than an African militia. So this is historically correct, Jim, yeah? Just want to check. You being our go-to. Right, I need to reinforce this C. Oh no, Juicy in Comic Sans. I hate curling letters, they're so difficult to keep the shape of. So we have Juicy. What? Right, you guys didn't say font at the beginning, that's your fault. This is what happens when you give me creative license by not giving enough information. You don't get what you want and tough. I think the new Roman would be a better look. No, we're into a teen pink juicy hoodie now. I say we. There's no we, is there? Because otherwise you wouldn't have made me do it. I am committed. Now's the hard part. So we've got the black line down. But now I'm gonna have to try and get the white to be roughly in the black, and to reinforce the colours. So wow, that white won't hold on. It's too thin. I need some more white. Team Gaz peer pressure. You're right, guys. I will not be broken. Well, I say that, you might see me melt down in a minute when it all goes wrong. Alright, so I've thickened the white up again. So I thin the white, but just too much, so that I would no longer have the control I need. And it was drying up still before I even got it off the brush. Now, I can't do the white and the black. I'll have to leave it as black. Sorry guys. Just not that good. I'll just end up chasing it and screwing up the back of the model if I try doing it in white over the black. As I've just done now. The basketball guy was a bit easier. It was a larger surface area to work with. I'm just going to go back in and reinforce the black. Yeah, apologies guys, it's a little beyond what I can do. Looks even good with the wrong font. Cheers. So what I'm going to do is just going to tidy up anywhere where I believe we might be a little off. I'm going to highlight it just with the colour pink by going in and around the letters just a little bit. So it should help it be seen a bit better, hopefully. Also helps me make sure there's a gap between each letter. Make sure the dot is separate from the eye. A lot of pressure on the wrist, this. Cool. So we have a bit of a juicy logo at least. The best I can do, unfortunately. Just tidy up the bottom of the J. And the C. A bit more on there. Cheers, Rasmus. Thanks for popping in and saying hello. Cheers. Cheers, Jim. Challenge issued. Even a bit tongue-in-cheek. I wouldn't say challenge met, but we got close. Then we'll call that one a small victory to you guys. Not quite what I was after at all, but like I say, always willing to try, because that's how you learn and grow. I'd have to have a think about how to do it better next time. I'm going to tidy up the C, darken the C a little bit with black again, and that should be this one put to bed. How are we doing for time? Oh, literally just coming on 2 hours right now. There we go. A little bit up on the C there. Cool. And then just take off the other bit. So I'll just reshape the C a little bit. I'm just going to go back in with the pink, because at the bottom here it's just flattened out too much. I want that to go up just a touch. take the roughness out of the corner. And then we're going to have to go upside down a little bit just to... Nope, that's not going to work for that angle. Nope. Just want to thin this bit just a touch. Just thinning the black just a touch. Yeah, that should do. Cool. Okay, so we've got a juicy jumper. Sweet. Right, let's have a look. So we did a bit of extra work here and there just to bring it up a bit more. I will just put a bit of Reichland into the eyes, just to darken them down because of the hood. So just in the eye line on the inside of the nose, just in the eye line on that side of the nose. There we go. I think the pieces of string really helped for the top. It's just broken up the image a little bit and give it some as a focal point. It brings your eye to there, and you kind of lose the boots a little, but I quite like that fact because it brings you up there. Then you look at the weapon, the hand, the skin, the schmag, everything else, which is really cool. Really happy with that. Sergeant Juicy better at least be a squad leader in the final game. Subordinate to Captain Flip Flops, of course. You guys are not wrong. So yeah, so today we've done some red wellies. We did the usual skin stuff. I think we have used that before, like I say, on one of the guys for the trouser colour and the face covering. This time I took more out of the gaps, and actually it sat with the first coat really nicely without needing really any extra work. We started off with a Volupus pink of sorts. That was the contrast. And then we transitioned into... Which one did I actually use in the end? Pink Horror. To tone it down. Then we threw on a shade wash. Carrollberg Crimson Red. And then, like I say, we picked out the strings for the pull ties, which came out really nicely. And yeah, we gave a statement of fact of how this got. I quite like the angle now. I think that's come out really nice. You chose the right word. I think the exclamation mark just makes it juicy. So yeah, we had a bit of fun with this one. Hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. In fact, there's a bit on. I'm not happy just with the inside of the boot there. I'm just going to use a bit of red to tidy that up. Part of the reason we go through this at the end every time is just to see if there's anything that we need to just touch out. So this down here is just a little too strong. So we'll just tone that back with a bit of light red thin down. So yeah, I think this is number 10 for me, which means there'll be 3 to go, of which 2 are some of my favourites. One's the guy with the sort of short dreadlocks, the shades, really like him as a mini. And the gang leader is in amongst them as well. He's got a big jacket on, which I really like the look of. That I think we'll end up playing with some reds on as well. So yeah, really looking forward to completing these and getting them off to America, where they'll join the enemy forces at HQ Sitrep in Chicago with Gianna Lomax, Matt Shader and the team. Chris is up there as well. Dawn will be in amongst that. It's going to be a good game, I think. And then Jim will be trying to kill all their guys before they even get to play, which is even more hilarious. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope this has been useful. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Ping us some comments, thumbs up, likes, everything helps. And I'll leave you with another message from our sponsors, Black Site Studios. Do some awesome terrain. If you need any terrain for anything, check them out. And, you know, hopefully they help us by supporting us, and we hopefully send some revenue their way. So have a great day. Have a great weekend. And I will catch you at the next one. Bye-bye for now.
Are you looking to become a Tier 1 operator in the gaming world? Elevate your games with Black Site Studio Terrain.